Hello everyone. So, I did my 0.01% rule in which we discussed what is the minimum trade that you should be doing, right? And now I want to talk about how to price stuff. So this is not a price checking guide. I want to talk about something else. So you have a lot of items, right? And you are selling them, and you wanna, save yourself the hassle and save a little bit of time. So, and of course, guys, you can never have it all. The time saving can be achieved by sacrificing a little bit of value. And I know that's rich from coming a cheap ass like myself, but thing is, guys, if you try to price everything individually, it is just way too painful. You spend too much time at the stash and too much time at the hideout and no time playing or very little time playing. So my strategy is on your screen right now. So what I do is, guys, I create tabs with certain prices in them, right? And I put the items in there, in those tabs, and they get priced for that price immediately. So for example, guys, the 10 exalted tab, which I will be retiring as I have discussed in my 0.01% video. So these items are all being sold for 10 exalted, but the thing is, you don't have to obey that rule. You can modify the price. I mean, let me show you. Do I have it? So guys, yeah, I thought this item was a little bit too cheap for 10 exalted, so I priced at 15 exalted. You can just price it regularly, so you don't have to obey these rules. But most of the time it's just simpler and easier. So guys, what I'm doing is I get some items, I take a look at them, I appraise them, and I'm like, okay, this is worth 50 exalted, this is worth 100 exalted. But of course, guys, the 50 exalted and 100 exalted is a big gap, right? What if the item is worth 60 exalted? So one option is, as I said, you can just put 60 exalted on the item, or you can just say, I want to save my time and put it in the 50 exalted tab, right? Because any sale is better than no sale, right? Provided that you do not rip yourself off hugely selling divine items for exalteds. But you know what I mean. I mean, instead of putting up at 60 exalted and not selling, maybe putting it up at 50 exalted will allow you to make a sale. So yeah. And so the thing is, guys, so this is a little bit obvious. A lot of people have arrived at this. So guys, how do I knock my prices off? Let me just dump these maps. Okay, just a sec. What's this then? Okay. Okay, I'm sorry for this. I shall not keep waiting. So guys, I have emptied my inventory. So what do I do is this, guys. So let me actually do it now. So guys, this is a 10 exalted tab. And thing is, I do not have a place to knock down these two, right? So what I do is very simple. Bang, 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 bang. Sell. And selling is better once you get used to utilizing Alva, guys. The gold that you get out of these is much better than the regal shards that you get from salvaging these, because guys, you are going to get like one regal shard maybe like every 6 items, and that's not going to be worth anything, whereas the 6 items will sell for about 25,000 gold. So okay, yes, so let's also sell these. That one is a unique, of course, that is worth disenchanting. Okay, now we go grab the other stuff. You might have noticed that I'm not picking up the jewels on purpose, because I'm not going to sell the jewels. I am going to hoard the jewels, and then one day, if I can gather my courage, I will 3-4-1 them. Okay, let me take a look at the Vantors I have kept. I mean, same stuff. It's okay. This one has more spirit. Let's just salvage that one. Okay, put these in the gem tab and salvage that Vantor and sell these fellas. Of course, guys, if you want to save them, you can save them in a tab, and you can do 341 for the amulets. It's not a bad call. Okay, there's one amulet that I have forgotten there, and I take the jewels. So I put the jewels in the dump. These are not very important. So guys, what about the 20 exalted tab here? So I'm just gonna knock these off into the 10 exalted tab, but I did tell you that I was going to retire the 10 exalted tab, so let me do it for the purpose of this video, right? But I am going to retire the 10 exalted tab, so these will also go to sale as well. Okay, just put them in 10 exalted. So guys, all of these items were being sold for 20 exalted, and now they are being sold for 10 exalted. And yeah, I think it's pretty efficient. Okay, we can do these as well. So guys, now all of these items have been knocked down in price, and what I do is I just go over all of these items. So the 20s get knocked down into 10, the 50s get knocked down into 20, and of course if there is an item that that really is worth 50 or close to 50, you can do it for like 40. For example, I have done this here, right? I'm just going to get it down to 30 instead of 20, but I will take all of these and knock them down to 20, and so on. 100s get knocked down into 50. And I would suggest don't use the exception thingy too often. As you can see, in every tab I have like 1 or 2 items that I do an exception for. The other stuff just get knocked down, because the thing is, guys, saving that time is much more important, right? I mean, manually putting up the price. So guys, what do I get, for example, for not knocking this down to 50 but to, let's say, 70? I will have to manually put the 70 price in there, and even if it works, which most likely won't work, I'm going to gain 20 exalted, right? Because guys, imagine I knock it down to 50 and it sells, and I gain 50, and I knock it down to 70 instead, which takes time. Then I gain 70, which means I have profited by 20. If it doesn't sell, I just did the manual pricing for nothing, right? And if it sells at 50 and doesn't sell at 70, it's horrible, right? Then because there is a 50 exalted gain. So this is a special item. I know it's valuable because the cooldown recovery rate is almost perfect, so I think it's gonna sell there. But these rare items just knock them all down, right? And of course, so this is what I have. I have the 1 divine tab. I knock these down to 200. 200 get knocked down into 100. And as I said, you can do a few exceptions here. I have just one exception here, as you can see. I try to put them in the lower right or upper right corner, the ones that I do exceptions for, so I don't accidentally, knock them down by too much. And thing is, keep in mind the special rules. For example, I have a unique tab and I have a flask tab, and if I don't pay attention, so for example, let's say I want to knock this down to 100. So what will I do? I will take it in my inventory and I will put it in the 100 tab, right? Let me show you what happens here. Oops, it's not in the 100 tab. Why? Because it's a flask and I have this tab and it got kicked here. See? Have to be careful with that. So if you have any special rules, you have to do it with Control-Shift-Click, right? Control-Shift-Click sends it to the current tab. But if you do just Control-Click, then you will be sending it to the mark tab, if they have any mark tab, right? Pretty important. Yeah, and as for, of course, multiple divines, you have to do these manually. So for example, I can't shift these in between tabs because they have all individual prices, and I think multiple divine items are worth taking the time. But stuff that is 1 divine and below, you don't need this. But of course, this is for me specifically, right? In the previous video in which we discussed the minimum trade, this is also based on what you have. So for example, guys, if you have like one divine, and if you have a 200 exalted item, you should definitely not be knocking it down to 100 exalted, right? I mean, if you price check it right, and do 190 or 180, because the difference is tangible to you, right? So the reason I knock these down to 100 is why? Because I'm gonna do 180 or something. It's gonna take time, and it is not very likely that it will sell. So I'm just saying, you know, screw this, I'll save time, and I knock down it to 100. So because the 80 exalted difference is not huge for me. It's not negligible, but it's also not huge, and there is no guarantees that it's gonna work. So I don't wanna, you know, spend a lot of time on this item, right? I do it 180, it doesn't sell. 2 days later I come and I get it down to 160, blah blah blah, right? That's a lot of effort. And as I said, there is no guarantees that it's gonna work, right? Special items, you can you know, do the exceptions, but you know, regular items, just knock them all down. So you could make these a little bit closer. For example, if you do not have, if you have only a few divines, you can start from like 5 exalted, 1 exalted. I definitely would suggest not going below 1 exalted, right, at this point, right? In the early season, you can go as low as, you know, 1 elk when they are, you know, about half an exalted, but do not go below, right? It's just not worth your time. Yeah, I mean, for example, do 1 exalted, 2 exalted, 5 exalted, 10 exalted, 20 exalted, whatever it is, and then the valuable tab would be, let's say, 100 exalted, right? Depends on what kind of currency you are operating on. I'm currently in the about 1,000 divine neighborhood, right, with the goodies that I have. Yeah, so that's about it, guys. You know, I think a lot of people have arrived at the, you know, this kind of pricing, this kind of, you know, static pricing. You just do not invest time in the items that are not really very valuable to you. But also, I mean, the thing that I want to stress upon is just take them all from a tab and knock them down to the next tab. So also, guys, another thing. So for example, I have a special pricing here, right? And I don't want to lose this price, but I want to, let's say, knock it down to the next slash tab. What I can do is, this is also again pretty simple, but you know, it's just 5 seconds. As you can see, I took it from the 50 exalted tab, and it was priced at 30 exalted, and then I put it in the 20 exalted tab, and as you can see, it kept its price, right? If I were to take it into my inventory, now the price is lost. If I put it in the 20 exalted tab here, now it's gonna be priced as 20 exalted. But if I am not careful, and if I do control click, it actually will not even be placed in the 20 exalted tab. Where will it be placed? It will be placed in the unique tab. Bang, see? You have to be careful, control shift click and not control click. I'm obviously playing on PC. Sorry for, you know, the console players. I'm sure, you know, you will know what hotkeys it is, you know, X, Y, A, B, you know, triangle, square, whatever they are. But you know, the quick move does not work if you are having tags, right? So for example, take a look at this, and you can tell if a tab has tags like this. So for example, this is the essence tab. But the thing is, guys, keep this in mind. This is an essence tab that I have bought from the store, right? But if I don't do this essence tag there, it will not receive that tag. So your essences will not be automatically sent there, right? You have to do it manually. This is the Delirium tab. You put the thing, right? Unique tab. They might be arriving with these already ticked. I'm not very sure, but if they are not, you have to do it manually. And it doesn't have to be, you know, premium tabs that you have bought from GGG. You can just do it on your own. Do I have any? Yeah. See, the miscellaneous tab I have created here. What do I have? I have Socketables, Ritual, and Expedition. So the crappy ritual artifacts, the omens, etc., go here on their own. We have those tabs now. I'm waiting for them to go into discount, right? Then I'll buy them all. So that's about it, guys. I think that's how you should be. You know, I'm doing it that way. I want to share with you guys. So, put up some fixed prices on some tabs, do the exceptions manually, but don't do too many, don't overdo it. And for those that do not have exceptions, if they don't sell for 1 day, 2 days, or half a day, whatever it is that you like, just leave them up for some hours at that price, and then just knock them down in between the tabs. The 20 exalted goes into 10, 50s go there. And of course, this will keep increasing throughout the season, right? I have started with, 1 elk, 1 exalted, 2 exalted tab, right? And of course, as time passed, as I obtained more resources, and of course people got richer at the same time, I have started retiring. As you can see, the 1 elk tab is retired, 1 exalted, 2 exalted, 5 exalted tab is retired. The 10 exalted tab is gonna get retired as well. Now that I have done this, I guess I'll wait 1 day or 2, then I will retire the 10 exalted tab and will put my minimum trade at 20 or 25 exalted, as I have discussed in the what's the minimum trade that you should be doing video. And yeah, that's about it, guys. I will see you in another video. Bye bye.